Hi, today I'd like to talk a little bit about acceptance. Okay, that's pretty much the theme of the video. I would like to be approaching the subject in a psychological or spiritual way. Okay, these are just my thoughts, okay, my impressions. I'm 22. I know I will change my ways of thinking. I would just like to share my thoughts and impressions and insights on something I was thinking about, okay? So, I would like to first share a story. So, yesterday I was sweeping my front door when a lady passed by and she came to me and she said, "Hi, Livia." I was not recognizing the lady. And she looked familiar, but I didn't know. I couldn't remember from where I knew her. So I was feeling very confused. And I started thinking the worst things, the worst case scenarios. I was thinking she could be a neighbor from the street, and then my mom could have something could have happened to my mom, and then my mom reached out to this lady, and now this lady came looking for me. But then those things led me to wonder new things. So why would have my mom reach out to her? And my mom doesn't even talk to the neighbors much, so why would this lady have my mom's number? Because the lady said, someone someone wants to speak on the phone with you. And I was confused, you know? I was not expecting that. And then she told me, Louisa wants to speak to you on the phone. And Louise is my friend. And then I started making sense of things. She was the mother of a friend of mine who lives nearby. And she was passing by, she saw me, she called her daughter, and then I talked to my friend on her mother's phone. And anyway, it was nice, but I thought I wanted to share this story because this story told me where I was standing regarding some things, some topics. So for example, I felt very anxious very quickly. I felt very paranoid very quickly. I realized that because sometimes when you're not exposed to situations, you might think you are completely fine with that. You're completely healed from some patterns, and you might be, but you might also not be. So, for example, during quarantine, I was no longer having problems with group projects, but that was because there was no group. I was I was studying by myself, and I was aware of that in that time. I thought, okay, I'm no longer having problems working with groups, but I'm no longer working with groups, so that must be why I'm not having problems either. Despite of the fact I had insights on that, I was not testing the insights. You know, does it make sense? And that's the same thing. So with yesterday's experience, as much as it was very nice, talking to my friend and talking to her mom was very, very sweet, and it was a great interaction. I felt happy that I saw her and that after a while, I recognized her. Uh, I was just anxious most of the time. I was feeling nervous. I thought the worst. After she left, I was left feeling, I thought the worst things. It took me half a second to exchange it took me half a second to switch from being like fine to being neutral to becoming very nervous and very paranoid. And this is something I complain about other people. I don't usually feel very fine, feel very chill around people who are, very anxious, very paranoid, this tends to become a problem because I see these patterns in myself. So it's just hard to see them in other people, you know? And yeah, but okay, having that story said, uh, I would like to connect this now with the topic of this video, which is acceptance. I think life always finds a way of showing us things, you know? Something that's been happening a lot in the past few, I don't know, I would say in the past few years, what's been happening to me is I think I am completely fine over something very arrogantly, really. So I think I am fine regarding something, and then life comes and show me that I might not actually be that uh, that much that much fine and chill around this subject as I thought I I was. So I think it's nice because I think life shows us until where we're ready to face, until we're ready to see. Sometimes sometimes I dig very deep into trying to understand things, even I think as a way to feel more in control. I try to understand people, understand, but why did this happen? Why did they do this? In general, a lot of times, and sometimes I cannot understand things. In these times, I let go of these things. I learned to let go of these things, or I am learning. And on the one hand, I feel blessed because I have a trust. I have a very strong trust that life's in control, that there is something bigger guiding me. And I would like to hear to the I would like to listen this sacred higher being. And I have a deep trust in life that everything is unfolding as it's supposed to be. Even when I'm not fully there yet, fully where I would like to be, I still have this trust, you know? I have an understanding that I was not going to share this, but I think it makes sense here. I have this understanding that whenever someone, including ourselves, whenever someone is mean to us, or whenever someone doesn't act in the best way with us, it's usually not because they don't, it's usually not because they didn't want to be nice to us. It's really because they can't. They, for some reason, they don't have the tools yet to do that. So, for example, let's say I'm going to get an absurd example, but and of course that's not okay. But let's say someone yelled at you, like a stranger yelled at you. This is not to excuse them. I feel like I'm going to be misinterpreted here, but of course you will not stand that. You're not going to allow that and sit still. But in order to understand the person, I don't think people behave in mean ways because they are mean. I think they behave like this because they just cannot be better at the time. Because of where they are in their lives, they cannot be better at the time. They did not yet have the tools they needed to in order to become a better person. This is what I think, what I personally think. I don't believe in like bad people, for example. This is not something I believe in. Uh, and I think this enables compassion. This understanding enables compassion, which leads us to talk about self-compassion and again acceptance. I think it's very important for us to accept where we're standing at um, without illusions and without, I mean, as we can, without illusions as we can, because whether we can get totally free of illusions is very debatable, right? But what I mean is without those what's the expression, rose colored glasses. I think that's the expression. So accepting ourselves and the others without romanticizing realities so much. Does it make sense? Because you cannot, for example, you cannot deal with a feeling that you deny in the first place. You cannot do anything regarding anything whose existence you deny, right? Uh, so so yeah, and this you don't have don't you don't really you don't even really have to do anything regarding those feelings. I was thinking here, uh, I did not prepare much for this video this time. This is being more like a chat to me. But I was thinking whether I would share something or not, and I think I am. In these last few months, I caught myself denying feelings that I have, and guess what? It does not happen. It does not help. So, yeah, I've come to a place of just accepting where I was standing emotionally. I've been feeling happier also, but not only happier, but I've been feeling more chill, you know, in a way, regarding a lot of things in my life. I think this was one of the things that really helped me accepting where I am standing now. So, for example, there is someone I like for a long time now, and I would pretend not to myself, really, to myself. But I've come to a state of acceptance, like yeah, I have these feelings. So so not only I like him, but my feeling has deep roots inside my heart that grow above the earth in the shape of a castle. And it's there. Am I going to do anything about this? Uh-uh. But but yeah, it's there. Because I think fighting against feelings takes a huge amount of energy. So this is where I'm standing. You know, I'm feeling peace around this. I don't want to do anything about this. I I don't even think a relationship would be like healthy, probably, if that was the case, which is not. but but still, I have these feelings. I don't have to live inside the castle in my mind, but yeah, it's there in the horizon. It's there. I have strong feelings. God, I love that person. Even yeah, I think I detached it completely from acting and from what I think and feel. Not completely, but I just what I mean is I don't have expectations in the sense of I don't really see anything happening from this rationally. But this is someone I feel very uh, pleased with. This is someone I have very tender and warm feelings around. And again, this I see the feelings. I I, I see my feelings just as they are. They are feelings. They are only feelings. And I see my thoughts as they are. They are just thoughts. They do not mean do this and or do that. They are just there. They are thoughts. You know, sometimes I'm doing something and then I get a memory or I get a thought or I wonder something, and I feel like I'm being more able, even with mindfulness, even with mindful practices, of just watching the thoughts pass by, because that's what they are. They are thoughts of, and which leads us to stating another truth, that is, I have not been corresponded in the way I would have liked to, in the way I was expecting. And this is it. This does not mean anything beyond that. This is a statement. So this does not mean I have not been corresponded in the way I was expecting. Therefore, I'm not worthy of good things. Therefore, I'm not worth. No, this does not mean anything. And this is, I think, where we struggle a lot of times. I struggle a lot of times with these implications of thoughts and feelings that don't have to exist if we stop and think about this. Okay, so let's say, for example, someone yelled at me. This and this is very useful for me to be talking about this, I think, because, like I said, I tend to make very quick assumptions. And the truth is, I think things are very often not what we were expecting them. Not even expecting, but not what we were guessing they would be. So we also tend to take things very personally. So they yelled at me, so they hate me, and of course they yelled at you. That's a harsh example, but for example, they left me on red. Therefore, they hate me. What I said, they didn't like what I said. Um, XYZ. When all it means is they left me on red. There could be many explanations for this, but it's often not what we assume. So I think this is important for us to attempt to detach and be radically accepting where we're standing in life regarding many things. So yeah, I have these feelings, saying like I have these feelings, I have these issues, I have these things I struggle with. I'm not saying this in order to say that I'm proud having these things, but I'm also not going to deceive anybody. I'm not going to deceive myself and hide behind illusions of what I would like to be as, because I'm not. I meant to be as. Okay, not bullshit. I lost my my train of thought, but this is where I'm standing now. I think this type of thoughts and sayings are important. So, saying this is where I'm standing now. I am working on my self development, but I'm not I'm not a perfect person. I struggle here. I might, of course, struggle with things I'm not even aware of because I lack self knowledge. This is where I'm standing off. And this self compassion enables us to love ourselves, I think. Because I struggle with these things. It's not okay. I'm not standing comfortably. Uh, I'm not standing comfortably, not trying to work on my flaws, but still, they are here. I know of things I don't feel like I yet have the tools to get rid of, but I'm here. I'm standing with this, and I still am worthy of good things. I'm still worthy of being loved. I'm still worthy of connection. I'm still worthy of um, mercy, whatever it is. Just like everybody is intrinsically worthy, because we're not worthy because of what we do. We're worthy as a nature. Our nature is being lovable and worthy, and I think this is for everybody. I really do. I really don't know if I could make sense of myself. I'm probably already gonna post this video, and yeah, I hope I could make sense. Okay, so yeah, thank you if anybody watched this video, and bye.